At this time, I call this High Springs City Commissioner meeting to order, August the 25th, 2022 at 6:30. At this time, we have the roll call. Here.
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 All right, thank you, ma'am. At this time, we have the invocation, and following that, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Most gracious God, as we come now to discuss the business of the city, God, as we come at this governing body, God, just bless us with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, God, that we can do what's best for the city of High Springs. And again, we just want to say thank you for thy grace and thy mercy that you have showed upon each and every one of us, God, and thank you for those that serve this city. In your sweet holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that the agenda be approved as printed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussions? It's on. Yeah, can you turn it up some? Test 1, 2. Y'all hear me now? All right. At this time, I entertain a motion for the approval. I'm sorry, did we vote on that? We didn't vote. Okay. Okay. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item number D, approval of the consent agenda.
I move we go ahead and approve the consent agenda, which are the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to item number E, a special presentation. None? Okay. Unfinished business? Oh, we're just moving along tonight, aren't we? All right. Item number G, citizens can request and comments for issues not on the agenda. Please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Megan Floyd, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to show support for the Good News Arts Summer Camp that was hosted in conjunction with the High Springs Parks and Recreation Department. For our family, this program was a godsend. Our 7-year-old daughter, who gravitates towards the arts, was scheduled for a totally different camp that we had actually already paid for. We opted as a family to forego that option for her when we found out about this camp. She was exposed to art disciplines that I personally have never experienced in 37 years. And our daughter wasn't the only one. 130 kids were able to receive this experience with the Good News Arts program. 60 to 80 kids per week were enriched right here in our own backyard. Wow, we're so blessed to raise our families in a city like High Springs. So you can imagine my surprise when I heard there may be no camp next summer because there's a chance the program won't be able to utilize the old schoolhouse. I can only gather that this is because there's a lack of education on the statistics of what the arts do for children. Did you know that students who are involved in the arts are 4 times more likely to be recognized for academic achievement, 3 times more likely to win awards for school attendance, as well as create a feeling of connection and cooperation between students, which I personally feel like they all need right now, having been disconnected because of COVID and things like that. Students who participate in the arts, both in school and after school, demonstrate improved academic performance and lower dropout rates. Why would we want to take away this amazing opportunity for our future generations here in High Springs? 0 other organizations are offering arts education outside of the school in our city. I pray that there will be a reconsideration on this matter because it would be detrimental to the children of High Springs to lose this opportunity. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Linda Hewlett, and I am chair of the Park and Rec Board for the City of High Springs. And I'm here representing the opinion of the members of that board. We met Tuesday and discussed this, and I am presenting the summary of their comments. So kudos to our High Springs Park and Rec Director, Damon Messina, and his staff for their work supporting the 2022 Summer Arts Camp. During the June Park and Rec board meeting, the artists, together with the Park and Rec staff, met with our Park and Rec board and gave us a look at the art projects, the great variety of things that the kids had produced, and how much they had accomplished by that point. This program went from June 6th to July 22nd, and 130 children participated. The idea of a summer arts program came from an accomplished local artist, Jessica Cadals. With the support of other artists, as well as high school students, they were able to implement the program. Members of the High Springs Police Department and were also present each day to keep students safe and lead them in calisthenics and boxing and build a great rapport with them. The High Springs Fire Department also supported the camp with a water play day. The students went on 10 field trips, some to the springs in our local area, some to the Gainesville museums. The Children's Trust of Alachua County covered much of the funding. Director Messina has the insight to see how valuable art education would be to youth in our area. Art does not receive the funding it once did in our schools. His ability to coordinate the various aspects of the program, together with the support of his staff, on a day-to-day basis, really made the program a huge success. Our director and his staff really looked forward to the sounds of the children echoing through that old school building as it once had many, many years ago. And we're happy to be hosting them. Thank you for your attention.
My name is David Lynch, L-I-N-C-H. I would like to ask Mayor Williams a question. How do you feel about the fact that High Springs Brewing is using the High Springs name to promote a product that kills 241 people each day?
This is typically not a question-answer session. It's a time for citizens to come up and make a statement. And if the question is rhetorical, then certainly it's allowed, but this isn't, Mr. Lynch, this isn't a question-answer period.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Ives, and I'm a community member. I'm a board member at Good News Arts, and I also happen to be an instructor this past summer at the camp, the summer camp that everyone's talking about. I want to read a letter from one of the parents of a child who attended the camp this past summer. This was emailed to all of you all, but in case you haven't had a chance to read it, it reads, Dear High Springs Commission, I am writing this letter as a parent and a member of the High Springs community in support of the Good News Arts Summer Camp. I first learned about Good News Arts through another family from my daughter's High Springs Soccer Club. We heard about the summer daily art camp and immediately enrolled our daughter Ella. We cannot say enough good things about the experience and the amazing staff. We enrolled our Ella in the program not only because she loves art, but also because she could get to know her community. She was able to make new friends and gain meaningful experiences each day. We were so happy to be able to fill her day with indoor and outdoor activities with other kids instead of potentially being on a screen all day. Jessica and staff were very organized and offered a variety of activities for all campers. I was especially pleased each morning when they allowed Ella to choose her activity. This really gave a 6-year-old a sense of autonomy in a world where so much is decided for her. Our kids in the community are growing up during a pandemic, and my daughter is an only child. Without programs such as this, she would not have as much socialization and exposure to the community, and for that we are grateful. I must add that this was not an alternative to childcare, as she has a parent at home every day. Despite this, Ella wanted to stay as long as she could to enjoy every last activity. I watched her become more confident and engaging each week, and I can't help but think this program contributed to this. We are looking forward to enrolling again next summer. Please allow Good News Arts to continue the partnership with the city and the use of the old elementary school next year. Our community needs it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jessica Caldas. I'm the director of Good News Arts. Thank you for being here tonight and for all of your work. As you've heard, we have quite a bit of support for the program that we run in partnership with the Parks and Recreation Department in the City of High Springs, which is as much thanks to the Parks and Rec Department as it is to all of you. Part of the reason for this outpouring of support, because I know that we have folks here tonight and you all have been receiving emails and support as well, is because we have learned as an organization that there might be a challenge to our relationship with the Parks and Rec Department in the City of High Springs. And on a personal level and an organizational level, this challenge is deeply confusing and alarming for us because we have felt that this partnership was something that we came to together to provide a service to our community and to our youth, one that is not found elsewhere in this area at this level. And it's hard to understand why anybody would want to challenge this. It's not only incredibly beneficial to the students and campers that take part in the program and the families that then participate via their students and campers, but it's also a program that we pretty much provide as an organization, Good News Arts that is, with very little asked of the city outside of support from the Parks and Rec Department and the space that we use. This program costs more than $200,000 to run, and that's supported through the funding, efforts, grant writing, and work that we do as an organization, much of which is volunteer-based. I can't imagine that the city necessarily has the resources to put together a program like that on their own and provide the same level and quality of work for their kids, for the kids. And so it's very difficult for me to understand why anybody would challenge this. I hope that it has been a misunderstanding and that we will be able to move forward in this partnership in the future and continue to provide this program for our youth and for our community. I know that so many of you have been supportive and so much of the city has been behind us every step of the way, and I can't thank you enough for that. I do hope, though, that if you have questions or problems or things that you feel are not being addressed, that you will reach out to me as the director of this organization and this program, instead of maybe doing other things that are very difficult for me to understand and not as transparent. I'm very accessible. So once again, I really do thank you for all your work that you all do for the city and the support that you have shown us thus far. And I hope that support will continue. Thank you.
David Lynch. My daughter was enrolled in the summer art camp this summer, and she also had private lessons from Jessica Caldas, and she benefited greatly from it, and I'd just like to add my voice in support of the program.
Anyone else?
Terry Phelan. I have some materials that I'd like to hand out to the commissioners. My name is Terry Phelan. I am here representing our Santa Fe River. I am the interim president of our Santa Fe River. One thing I realized is that we come to the podium quite often, but one thing that we've never really done is introduce ourselves. So that is what I'd like to do, is take a couple of minutes this evening to simply introduce our organization to the board and just give a little bit of information about what we do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are an all-volunteer organization, and that includes our board. So nobody is paid a salary nor benefits from anything that we do. We presently have 100 members. We have approximately 15 lifetime members, and we have 1,000 newsletter subscribers. So a lot of people read about some of the things that we do. I did hand out the purposes for which the corporation was formed. And before I go into that, I did want to say that our organization was founded in 2007. And the reason the organization was founded was because back at that time was when the very first bottled watering plant was proposed and built. And after that, 4 other companies wanted to come and also have their bottled water plants as well. So a few of the local people got together, they formed the organization, they fought the bottled water plants, and they won. So that was a huge thing. And the organization has continued up until this day. Martha Strawn wrote our bylaws for the purpose of which it was formed, exclusively educational and scientific. It was formed to collect and disseminate information with the goal of protecting the waters and lands supporting the Floridan aquifer, springs, and rivers within the state of Florida, to promote public awareness pertaining to the ecology, quality, and quantity of the waters and lands adjacent to and supporting the Santa Fe River, including its springs and underlying Floridan aquifer. There's a couple of other things that are very lengthy and wordy. We receive and administer funds to other nonprofit organizations of which we work with. The Alachua County Trust is one of the other organizations we work with. The Florida Springs Institute, we're a member of the Florida Springs Council, which is an organization of 50 other environmental groups very similar to us. We also have and have never been able to do so because of funding, is to be able to buy and sell property for the sole purpose of preserving lands for protecting the river. So one of the things that I did hand out to you was a little brochure of some of the things that we do. And one thing that we would like to do is invite and encourage the City of High Springs commissioners, attorney, city manager, and other people attending the meeting in the room to become a lifetime member. Lifetime membership is $500, and we've been an organization for over 15 years and continue to do so for for a very long time. If you don't want to become a lifetime member, we do have yearly memberships at various levels. So that, a couple of things that I would like to say that we do is we give a little bit of money, or quite a bit of money actually, to a program in Fort White called the Partnership Program. And it is a program that educates children Specifically, they're focused on the Ichetuckney River, and the Ichetuckney River is a tributary to the Santa Fe River. So it is a very important tributary that feeds into the Santa Fe River. And one of the things that they do is they're very scientific in what they teach their kids to do. They teach them how to check for water quality using various instruments. They work with counting fish, counting turtles, recording all the various different species. So they're a very worthwhile organization that prepares our younger people to protect and preserve the river. Another organization that we support as well, we are getting our foot in the door in the agricultural area with the subaquatic vegetation, which is becoming very depleted. And because of this, there are things happening like the death of the manatees. And so one of the things, we're really blessed to have a botanist who is working with the agricultural program, growing eelgrass and planting it. So those are a couple of things that we're working on, and many, many more. But my time is out. So thank you so much. And one of the things I wanted to say is please support the Good News Art Program. It's just awesome. I mean, bring tears to my eyes with that. And I'd also like to say what an awesome board we have. We are so blessed to have people like you moving this community forward. And I'm just amazed at what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
I never fight over this. Becky Bates, got one thing to say, Boxcar Court still needs paved. All right, but I'm really here on support of Good News Arts. Hey, squeaky wheels. Anyway, Good News Arts is a wonderful, wonderful organization. I think you all know that. I think each and every one of you know that. But what I didn't hear anybody say, and here's what I'd like you to do. Please go to Good News Arts Gallery. It's at the very end of the block from Great Outdoors. You can't miss it. It's got all the kids' artwork displayed right now. Go look. Go see what they did this summer. I was lucky enough to pick up my granddaughter a couple of times from the school, the old school. And guess what? The old school rang with children laughing and playing and having fun. It was revitalized. As an old person, there's nothing better than being needed, and the old school is needed. And it's serving a wonderful purpose for this community. So don't bail on it. Give them another 10 or 20 years to let them have a camp until these kids can do something else. But anyway, thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Kristen Rubin, and I live in High Springs. And thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Commissioners for allowing us to speak. And firstly, kudos to the Children's Art Camp. Better in an art camp than on the streets. I know you have a lot of information to go through before you vote on any of the development proposals that will be coming before you in the near future. I believe there are at least 5 infrastructure categories that need to be addressed: education, utilities, digital, transportation, and employment. With regards to education, I have not looked at Santa Fe Middle and High School, but I saw that High Springs Community School has 875 capacity and it's at 100%. With regards to utilities, I do not have an education in this field, but the information from WUFT, Gainesville Sun, and MainStreetDaily.com, and from friends that live in this area, because I live in a different part of High Springs, and do not have access to your water. There have been several, and quite often, many issues over and over again regarding your boil water alerts, and that their water smells like bleach. One of this comment particularly is something that was heard repeatedly in Flint, Michigan. Another huge issue is the fossil fuels usage and a need to use alternative ways to support our electrics, and our and solar is a really good one. And I know that it cannot be forced upon home buyers, but if there was any way that there could be more solar, that would be very beneficial. Transportation, I see where High Springs is addressing repairs on some of their streets, and the discussion of a truck bypass possibly is in the works. Then there is the issue of the traffic that these developments will bring to High Springs. Digital, again, a subject I know very little about, but I have read studies that concerning the cell towers and what the effects are to the people that live near them. So yes, we need them, but we also need to be very careful in where we're going to be placing them. Employment. Your CRA states a median income of approximately $64,000 a year. I also saw Google that it was 52,540. These jobs are not in High Springs. Therefore, a good chunk of that annual salary must go to their gas tanks. They drive 40 to 60 miles a day round trip. There's also food for 3.5 people, plus the other necessities, medical, insurance, etc. Seems to leave little for mortgages, for real estate taxes, for house insurance. I did not see in these categories, nor in your CRA, which touts tourism, or in the section on environmental sustainability, was there anything on water conservation? And yet the development proposals are for just over 1,600 units, and that includes the 4 that were sent to me, not just Bridlewood. I know the Bridlewood development will not be immediately built out, but I know that there will also be other developments coming down the pike. So, and with regards to the median income for these 0 lot lines, you're looking at first home buyers, and probably people that want to downsize, people like in my age bracket. But what happens with the people that are second home buyers? Will they want to buy these homes that are on these little 0 lots? I don't think I would, but I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm just speaking in that part for myself. So will these developments be supported by grants? Will they have to have grants that will support the purchases of these properties? What materials will be used for these properties, for these homes? Will it be something that's going to last them 20 or 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? The other part of it is, will these homes even have, like I already said, second home buyers? And again, back to water use. At 1,600 homes, and that's with all of the developments that I didn't state but are included in this, there would be 12,000 gallons of water used a month. And for those 1,600 homes over the year, that would be 230 million gallons of water a year. Plus we have Blue Triton / Nestle. They already take 30 million gallons of water a month, and then we have agricultural pumping. We all need water, but what we really need is water conservation, a way to help each other conserve our water, less sod, no irrigation, using Florida friendly, and using water only to establish their plants. Let's help each other. And the reason I bring these items to your attention is because they do need our attention. Thank you.
Anyone else? Says requests or comments?
Hi, I'm Terry Hancock, and both my daughters participated in Good News Arts summer camp over the summer, and I just wanted to express what wonderful level of art education they received, as well as character building and exercise. It was really a great experience. My younger daughter is here on a school night. She just loved Good News Arts Camp so much, and my older daughter got to participate as a junior teacher, which really helped her. I saw a big difference in her level of confidence and responsibility that she gained from that experience. You have anything to say, Morgan?
Hi, my name is Morgan, and Good News Arts was really awesome. I learned a lot about art and figure drawing, which I really loved. And also, I had 6 or 10 friends there that were really awesome and really liked me. And well, the favorite thing there was for me was that my friends were there with me and my singing group. And, well, that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else on citizen requests or comments not on the agenda? Commissioner response?
I do. I think we all know who this is being addressed to. It's no secret. I love children. I have 2 boys of my own that we raised, and I have 2 wonderful grandchildren. And I have nothing wrong. I have no problems with the Good News Arts Camp. My problem was where it's located, the fact that it is much too small for the number of kids that are going to be there, and the fact that it's an historic building. We have had discussions of historic buildings in this town, and they're supposed to be maintained in a certain manner. I don't know that that's happening at the old schoolhouse. There are other people who would like to use it, but it really is not available. I do know that it's been said that the school is cleaned up before anybody else needs it. I've been told otherwise. I think we need to decide, and this will be a commission, or maybe the decision's already been made, I don't know, to move everybody out of the old schoolhouse, turn it over to Parks and Rec, and then there's no discussion. There's no people being concerned because they can't get in there and have the meetings that they used to have. Damon mentioned that he looked at the calendar and that it was used very little. The city doesn't make any money off of our facilities. Whatever money is brought in is to maintain the buildings. So that's not an issue. I'm hearing from another faction. Everybody loves children. You know, this is not, again, about the children. I think it's a wonderful program. I have nothing against the program. I just want it clarified for everyone to know that one way or the other, the old schoolhouse belongs to the rec department, and they can do with it what they want. They can rent it, they can not rent it, but take other businesses out of it. You know, just leave it to the rec department so that people know that it's not available to them anymore. I do know that the fire department and the police department lend their hands to help with that, but we definitely need a bigger place for these children, is my opinion. Thank you.
I'm going to leave Good News Arts alone. I appreciate everyone's time and coming in tonight for that. I did want to say, you know, to the citizens that talk about development, thank you for your engagement. We're a growing community and people need to be educated about the process. One of the things everybody in the community needs to understand when it comes to schools is school concurrency is done by the county school board and not the city of High Springs. They're the ones that give a developer the document that says there's room in the schools. We don't have a say in that at this level. Now, all the other things and the infrastructure, yeah, the concerns people bring up are real, and there's a process for that, and examining those things. And this commission is working to implement some new impact fees and really hold people who want to come here accountable for their impact and the development that's required. So thank you for your engagement. Follow along. I encourage you to reach out to us, and we can explain in more detail. But the other thing I would want to address, we've had a couple people come in and talk about our water quality. And our water distribution system is old, and with that comes problems. And we've just started another infrastructure improvement project which will help improve the water quality by the flow. But the water coming out of our ground is in really good shape. The boil water notices generally are because there's been a break in our infrastructure and a loss of pressure, not because the water itself has anything inherently bad in it. It's been a long time since we've had a storm event that has inundated one of the wells and caused any kinds of a problem that would be a boil water notice. So, you know, as we go forward, let's make sure we're you know, really getting the information and asking the questions. They're good questions, but developers aren't allowed to just come in and blindly impact our community. So thanks.
Yes.
I want to echo what Commissioner Ambrose said in terms of the boil water notice. You know, you can't help it when somebody runs into a fire hydrant. It's required. It's regulatorily required that you have to issue a boil water notice until you get clean samples. So he's right. When there's a breach in the system, you have to do it, just for everybody's safety. I wanted to thank Ms. Ives for reading Ella's mom's letter. I have some letters here I was going to read, and I don't have to read those now. We all received 3 wonderful letters about the Good News Arts Camp, and I think there's been some misinformation perhaps about whether or not the commission supports the camp. The commission never had any say in the camp. We had no vote in it. We were not involved in it at all. We only became involved in it when it became potentially a use of the space issue and how we followed that process along through the Parks and Rec Department. So it got kind of lumped into that. And I think there's wide support for continuing the program. And I think there's also vast potential to grow the program, but like Commissioner Jones said, in a different location. I think there are some partnership opportunities that could be really, really special, that could allow more kids to learn and to do, because you can't express yourself like you can through art. I can't express myself through art at all, but my daughter is amazingly artistic through the grace of God and marrying well, so she would have gone to a camp like that. But I do think that there might be a more suitable location. And one of the concerns I have when you have a municipality seemingly partnering with a free camp is, you know, what other free camps can there be? Because nothing is free. And, you know, a free camp that might be or might not be affiliated with the city, it's not a sustainable business model for a municipality, in my opinion. I mean, there's a free theater camp here in town that my daughter has participated in, but it's independent and it's wonderful. And if you like performing arts, it's an amazing experience. And I think that having the opportunity to express yourself through art is just as important, especially now with the wounded kids we have. So I just didn't want to give the impression that we as people, as parents, as citizens, don't support art at all. But I think that we may be able to find a more suitable location where kids can get dirty. You don't have to worry about whether or not they're getting paint on a historic building, or they can get muddy, and they can be kids and they can play. So, I mean, we're kind of coming into this whole equation late in the game, and I just didn't want people to think that we had ever supported it and then not supported it. We didn't have any say, so. But I'm sure that it's a wonderful program, and I hope we can work together with Jessica to find a place or, you know, a venue that's going to allow it to just blow up and explode with taking every kid that was on the waiting list. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you for your comments, because that's exactly where I was going to go with this. because the idea is there that the commission was a part of this whole thing from the very beginning, when in actuality we wasn't. And I think it was giving us, giving you bad vibes from us, but that was definitely not the situation. And that's what I intended to bring out as well, but you did it already, so I don't have to repeat it. All right, thank you.
In addition to Commissioner Ambrose's comments of developments coming in, this commission has turned down 2. There was a huge development that was coming in, Terra Development, I don't remember the exact name, Terra Meadows, huge, over on 441 behind Michael's Catholic, St. Michael's Catholic Church. We turned that down. Bailey Estates had another large, not as big, but another large development coming in, and we turned that down. So we're trying to be careful. It's, we need to grow, but we're trying to be careful doing so. So I just want to remind you that we have turned down other developments. The school concurrency is the biggest obstacle that we could run into. We know that, and again, we do not have any control over that. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Again, I want to say thank y'all for coming out and voicing your concerns on tonight. It's good to hear your concerns. Truly, truly good. Yes.
Morgan, you're a hard act to follow, I just got to say. You're very brave, and you did a great job.
Good job.
Out of the mouth of a babe.
Yep.
All right, we're moving on.
Okay.
New business. Item number 1, discuss and consider the act on parks, trails, and recreation master plan proposal.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a brief presentation. It's the shortest one you're going to have until the end of the year. And it's just going over the benefits of the Parks Master, having a Parks Master Plan, and some of the highlights of the proposal from GAI. We already have a contract for services with them, not for a Parks Master Plan, but the contract we have with them is similar to the one we have with other consulting firms, where we can engage them for additional services. So we didn't need to do a piggyback agreement or RFP or anything like that. So I'm going to go over that, and then Kristen Caborn with GAI, she's here, that she can answer questions and speak further when I'm done. So just some of the benefits are, it establishes a long-range vision so that we, if some of these subdivisions are approved, we can plan adequately for growth. And so we don't miss opportunities such as where we could possibly put trails, what facilities we should be planning to have in new subdivisions if they're approved. And if they aren't approved, what facilities are most important to retrofit, and just, it's good to reassess what you're doing every now and then and get input from the community. Again, assess current and future recreation needs of the community, provide strategies to fill gaps and reduce redundancies within the park system. Typically, you'll do an analysis of what surrounding cities are offering and private organizations, because parks isn't often limited to a community. People go to other communities for different offerings, and we want to complement other communities and organizations and fill the needs. Promotes new ideas, builds and deepens existing partnerships and alliances, improves transparency and builds community support for Parks Department projects, programmings, and offerings. This is where we can have some of the discussions, such as do we want to use the facility for Good News Arts? Do we want to use it for something else? What do we want to do? We can have some of these discussions to get in front of some of the issues so we're doing the right things. Identifies new opportunities for future development, helps to align and prioritize capital improvement projects with community needs. Obviously, we already have a CIP plan, but we need to go back and get some community input and look at some demographic data, some growth patterns. We need to reassess it from another level. establishes a strong foundation, which significantly can help when applying for grants. If you have a Parks Master Plan, when opportunities come up, you already have the information there, so it's easier to apply for. Plus, you have the backup where you can say, look, this is in our Parks Master Plan. The commission already supports it. You know, that sort of things. It greatly helps when applying for grant opportunities. And often they come up, and when you find out about them, you don't have a lot of time to get all your data to necessarily come back, ask the commission if they want to do it. That way you've already made the decision. We know as staff what we should be doing. The deliverables from the Parks Master Plan will, and if approved, will include an existing conditions analysis. That's when we go out and review the quantity and quality of major park facilities, including the fields, the courts, the playgrounds, pavilions, restrooms, as well as the supporting infrastructure, the sidewalks, the parkings, fountains, numerous other things that contribute to a properly functioning park system. We would also look at the needs and concerns of the neighborhood, the accessibility of parks, pedestrian connectivity, and a variety of other things, and come back and provide you a report. A survey in digital geospatial data in a spatial data standard form. Do you want me to say that 3 times? Survey in digital geospatial data. I'm sorry. Okay, so it'll provide photographs, inventory, a database, graphically show geographical distribution of parks, trails, and corridors. They'll be tied to a map with ID and an inventory list. A public input report. This will come from the public input process that will involve 4 visioning public workshops and 5 focus group meetings, as well as additional methods of gathering public input. And you'll receive the results and findings of those. As well as a level of service evaluation and map showing acquisition and capital investment gaps, including park service areas. So this will come from the existing condition analysis and the public input report, but you will find out, okay, you know, here are the parks that are at this service level, here's the parks at that service level, this is a service level we want to be at, what do we do to get everything at this service level? And it'll also look at the park service areas. And so what we mean from that is, you know, the distance people are from the parks and if the facilities are accessible or if we need to do something to make them more accessible. And then we will have a deliverable with the guiding principles to include the vision, goals, and objectives, strategy development, and recommendations and capital improvements, which will also include future land acquisition. So the cost for this effort is $139,605. Typically, you will receive this return easily in grants and by doing the right things, and it will help you not make major capital mistakes so that we are directing our money in the right way. And the schedule for completion is 12 months. And so that's around it. And do you want to add anything that I missed? You're way smarter than me at this, so.
No, I wouldn't say that. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kristen Caborn. I'm the Director of Park Planning for GAI Consultants, which essentially means they pay me to work with cities and counties to help plan parks. So happy to answer any questions. Really appreciate y'all having me here tonight. Look forward to hopefully working with you.
So staff is asking that y'all approve the proposal so that we can start on a Parks Master planning effort, especially in light of all the people knocking at our doors.
Estimated time of completion, you said is 12 months?
Yeah, it was 16 and we changed it.
You changed it to 12?
Yes, and the document before you has the 12 months on it.
Okay, the amended one.
Yes.
Okay.
But that means we need everyone's cooperation to keep the project moving.
We were told that today.
We're never late because of us.
That means we need to hire an extra staff members. Joke.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes.
There was a budgeted line item for this in the budget that we looked at.
Yes,
And it was more than the number that's up there, is that correct?
That is correct,
Okay,
yes.
so we have the budget for it, we're not borrowing to do it.
It would come from the Wild Spaces Public Places.
Great, thank you.
But if you want us to finance it, we can. We
You
know
know
how
I
you like to
don't.
finance things.
She feels better.
And you know what else is really neat about the timing of this is we are going to be finishing Alachua County's Parks and Recreation Master Plan in December, and we just finished a statistically valid survey for the county. So we have some really great, very recent, relevant data, and it is split out by zip code, so we can tell what people from this area said. So that actually is going to contribute a lot to the plan, along with the face-to-face focus groups and public meetings that we'll be doing.
Yes. Okay, so I'm happy with the funding. I actually think it's a really good use of wild spaces. Having been on the Parks Board for a number of years, most citizens don't realize, and especially with the influx of public spaces money, we've been spending millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars on our parks without a master plan. So this investment of, under $150,000 to give us some real, decision-making data that we can use strategically is really important, especially since one of the impact fees we're looking at implementing is specifically for parks. So spending the money, I think, is a great idea. I'm glad it's in the budget. I did look at the proposal, and one of the things I didn't notice in the proposal is any engagement with our Parks and Recreation Board, which is, by their charter, is supposed to advise the commission. So I would look at, the proposal. You talk about a designee from the city, which obviously you need a staff person, but I also think anything that comes back to us needs to be vetted by this group of citizens that have volunteered to specifically focus on parks issues, and that you have their ongoing input in the process. Thanks.
I think that was a plan that everything would also be vetted through them. We can you can specify it more in emotion, but I think that was the plan.
Okay, it just
Yeah.
didn't mention we had one.
Oh.
It talked about the commission and whatever, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
We can make that happen, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. Commissioner, what's your pleasure?
I move we move forward with approving this agreement with GAI to create the Parks and Recreation Master Plan in the next 12 months.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Anyone from the audience? Questions? Seeing none? All right, I think it's a great plan. All righty. All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you so much for
We
all
look
your
forward to
work.
working with y'all. Thank you.
All righty. All right, discuss and consider the act on the appointment of the city clerk replacement effective January the 1st, 2023.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you know, I am planning to retire in December, the end of December. Can you hear me now? But as I am a charter officer position, it's the commission hires and fires that position. So with my vacancy, they would need to hire a replacement. And as my letter in the packet says, I would highly recommend Deputy City Clerk Angela Stone to fill that position.
I second.
But she's ready for interview questions if you like.
I don't know if we really need a lot of discussion on this item.
I move that we approve the appointment of Deputy City Clerk Angela Stone as City Clerk effective January 1st, 2023.
Second.
Boy, y'all fast on that one, aren't
Yeah,
you?
on that one.
Yeah, we're not going to let her get away.
Yeah, I think she was do get first and a second. Anyone from the audience? Questions or comments on this agenda item? Yeah, none? Okay, I think this will be a great appointment.
Yes.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Congratulations,
Yes,
Angela.
welcome.
Thank you.
I want to thank you guys for the opportunity, and I look forward to serving you and the citizens of our community. Thank you.
You already did.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Thank you, Jenny.
I
It's a
guess-
rainbow moment, but it's a hard heart moment too, because you're amazing. And I know Angela will do great things, but we will miss you so much.
So now, Angela, now you're working directly for us now.
Well, as of January.
Okay. Item number 3, establish the alternate dates for September, November, and December to the commissioner meetings.
Historically, we changed the meeting dates to accommodate holidays during these months. And in your package, you have the list of suggested meeting dates.
They all work for me.
All good for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we, okay.
They seem to be good dates for me.
All right.
If they're good for everybody else.
They're already on my calendar.
I may
Mine
not
too.
be able to make the December one, depending on a band trip, but it can't be just me.
Okay.
We understand. That's only one meeting that month.
Yeah. All right.
No, my comment's gonna be, just make that a light agenda that night on the 8th, December.
There you go.
All right.
That being the case, I will make the recommendation that the dates as amended be approved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Anyone from the audience? All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, item number 4, review and consider the approval of a school resource officer program agreement with the School Board of Alachua County. Chief?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. It's that time again, year again where we renew our annual school resource officer program with the Alachua County School Board. So we've submitted the contract, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions? Okay. All right, entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the MOU between the school board and City of High Springs Police Department. School board.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Anyone from the audience? All right, hearing none. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, then. Item
Moving
number,
right on along
yes,
tonight.
ma'am. Item number 5, discuss and consider the act of amending Article 26 of the PPA collective bargaining agreement.
Commission. So earlier in the year, we approved the new pay scale for employees, the new ranking, and we were able to move them around. As part of that, and with budget adjustments and adjustments of salaries, we had to open Article 26 of the PBA contract. So as we went through, we opened up that article. We've met with PBA, myself, Chief Shepherd, City Clerk, Jenny Parham, and we've come to a conclusion. We've come to an amenable agreement between all parties. It fits within the budget that you've already received. So this is just a formality, and the appropriate action is to approve this so we can move forward. They voted on it last week, so we get it before the commission. You've already seen the budget. It fits it within that, so we are good to move forward.
Actually, Mayor, after we submitted that in the packet, they came back with a memo of understanding, which you have on your desk. So that motion would actually be to approve the memo of understanding.
Okay.
Would you like a motion, Mayor?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve the memo of understanding that's been presented and negotiated. And I'm glad we're keeping our officers in the union happy.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Anyone from the audience? All right, hearing none. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All righty. City Attorney's report and updates.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to introduce you to Danielle. Danielle Adams has been with us for 3 years as a file clerk, 3 years as a law clerk, and now she's transitioning into a different role with us, and she'll be our newest attorney. And when she gets sworn in, and keeping our fingers crossed that the exam results come back. What about September 20th or so? Is that? So one of the requirements of this job is you have to say something about yourself, preferably about your puppy dog.
I was one of many who got a quarantine puppy, and Mr. Walker is enamored with my quarantine puppy. She's a 2-year-old German Shepherd named Salem. That is my about me fact. It's super nice to meet all you guys. After working for the firm for 6 years, I hear your names thrown around all the time, so it's nice to finally put faces to names. I'm looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you.
That's all.
That's all here. All right. Madam City Manager.
Next week we have a special plan board meeting, and the reason it's special is just because we have so many cases coming in. It's gotten to the point where it's very difficult to get them all done in one meeting a month. So on Tuesday, September 30th, I think that's September 30th, the 2 items on the agenda will be Bridalwood. They're up for their plan development, so anyone interested in participating and hearing those discussions, that will be Tuesday evening on September 30th in the council chambers, and Tractor Supply as well. They have their site plan, which will also come to the commission for approval, and they're asking for a variance on parking.
Is it September or August?
August. Sorry. But it's 1 week from, not even a week away. So it's right around the corner. Thank you for the correction. That would have been bad.
That it?
Got a couple little things going on. The Waterline Interconnect project connecting 27 and 441 is underway. They are plugging away. They want completion. Thomas isn't in the room anymore, but we're supposed to be done with that project no later than November 10th. So they're moving along pretty quick. It's a whole boring project, so it should be done. We had to send some questions back on the sewer plant. There were some questions on the permit. They answered those today, so we should know. Tim's hopeful within the next couple of weeks we should have the reply back and be moving forward to go out to bid on that project. We just did our first ever preseason soccer camp. It wrapped up tonight for the soccer season coming, so a lot of stuff going on there. Robotics kicks off next week, first meeting. And our team has been forwarded the chance to host a qualifier January 21st. It'll be here in town. Alachua is going to allow us to use the Legacy Center to host it because there's going to be a lot of teams. We need a lot of area. So we're doing a little combination deal with the city of Alachua to be able to host a qualifier for the robotics competition as well. So it's the first one in the area. It's a big deal. We're working out some of the final details, but that'll be January 21st. If any of y'all would like to attend, it will be at the Legacy Center if you want to see what it's about. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. All right.
I have a couple of emails. I have less now that all of the fabulous Good News Arts people were here. But there were a couple others that people asked that I read, and I'll probably only read part of one of these, but I've highlighted it, and I can give it to Jenny or Angela to have. This may be the first meeting I've sat in on that all of the votes have been 5-0. That I've not been the cheese standing alone as the one, and it was kind of nice. This is an email that I think came to all of us. Good afternoon to each of you. This is from Kimberly Sloan. I regrettably could not make last night's commission meeting, July 28th. I have since watched the recording via the city's Facebook page. I've been a resident of High Springs since 1999. Since the spring of 2022, I have become more involved with our town. I realize I am late to the game, but no time like the present. I have enjoyed listening and learning during each of the meetings I have attended in person or watched via Facebook Live. Since I have started attending the meetings and becoming involved, a few questions keep coming to mind for each of you as I think to myself how I would answer these questions if in your role or position. What does your position mean to you? Who do you represent in regards to your role as commissioner, vice mayor, and mayor? What is your why for being a commissioner, the vice mayor, and the mayor of High Springs? My perception after a few meetings is it is apparent to me that there's tension between the current commissioners, vice mayor, and mayor. While not all of you will see eye to eye on each topic of the meeting's agenda or agree on how to move forward with certain items, I would think that the manner and how responses are delivered could be professional regardless of feelings. At the end of the day, High Springs commissioners, vice mayor, and mayor should want to work together for their residents. I have not fully felt that. There is a division and at times pettiness. Current and future residents of High Springs should have confidence in our leadership. Currently, there is room for significant improvement. I understand that this is just one resident's view on the matter, but I feel you are a public representation of our town and should always act accordingly. So I told Ms. Sloan that I would read this, and I know that she got quite a few answers, and I think it's really, all of our whys are important. And when I look at our board, we're such a variable, wonderful representation of our town, and I know with all the big stuff coming down, because we've got some big stuff coming down, yes, that we can, our whys can be for everybody. And I just appreciated her reaching out and pointing her, making her points. Another email that I got was, and I asked, a letter, and I asked permission, is from Jacqueline Snyder Dufty. Dear Mr. Williams and City Commissioners, I'm a resident of High Springs. I follow with interest your meetings and the decisions your commission takes in meetings. I would like to address here, if I may, something a little disturbing that has come to light in one of your recent City Commission meetings. That is the perceptions made evident by some commissioners regarding the value of the president of our High Springs Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Sharon Decker. Perceptions my experience of her show to be mistaken. I am thinking that it might be useful to your commission's thinking were I to clarify a few things on her behalf. I would very much appreciate your taking time to consider the following. I know her and observe her both in her public and in her non-public moments. Mrs. Decker represents the interests of the Chamber of Commerce. She comes from the Charlotte area of North Carolina, where she worked for years in governmental positions to help improve the lives of citizens in her community. She applies skills acquired in her years in those positions to her work with the High Springs Chamber. She works now on behalf of the Chamber to benefit and enhance the businesses of our community. She has shown great skill in bringing about numerous public events and festivals to bring people into the community, visitors who will want to frequent and benefit our businesses in the downtown area. She checks in with each chamber business member twice a week to ask what they need the Chamber to do to further their interests. I had a business in Gainesville for 37 years, and never was I once visited by the city's Chamber of Commerce to see what help they could provide me. In fact, I was witness to a number of long-term, revered Gainesville businesses fail. Businesses that might have been shored up and saved had the Chamber intervened to solve problems affecting their outcomes. That is the mission Mrs. Decker takes seriously in her role as head of the Chamber of Commerce. That is, to help and ask businesses what they need and to actually do it. That is what drives her. There seems to be some perception on the part of the commissioners that her events have brought in a great deal of funds, and they have. She turns around and uses these funds to fund further events and festivals. Right now, we have a number of vacant storefronts with Mrs. Decker's activities and successes. The chance to bring in more robust businesses is enhanced. And the supreme irony is she does all of this work for free. She is a volunteer and takes no compensation for her work. We should be lauding her, not denigrating her, it seems to me. She wants only to do her part if the city will let her, to enhance the present and historic character of the town. She seems to be deemed by some commissioners as not so valuable, while it seems that she is very valuable. I would so appreciate your giving my views of Mrs. Decker some thought. I am very proud of her work as our chamber president. Thank you very much for taking the time to read this. My very best wishes to you and to all the commissioners in your efforts to better enhance our town. I wanted to read this just because it echoed comments that I got from a lot of people. But Ms. Dufty really went above and beyond in terms of trying to memorialize it and put it in words that I probably couldn't have appropriately. And I just thought it was important to get her words on the record and just relay that I've heard so much of the same, that she really does. She loves this town, and she's bringing in some new ideas that maybe are difficult for some folks. Maybe they don't work, maybe they do. But I've talked to a lot of business owners, and they really do appreciate what she's doing, and I just wanted to have an opportunity to share that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. I again want to remind people that the TDC, Tourist Development Council, LACHO, will be meeting here in High Springs on the 14th. There will be some food available ahead of time if people want to come early, but the focus is going to be on cave diving and its impact, but it is a meeting of the TDC, and it'll be nice to have all those representatives here. And then all of the commission has a notice up here about the dedication tomorrow of the new gateway sign that went up on Wednesday. It's at 10 o'clock tomorrow out on 441. If anyone wants to stop by. I know there's a citizen in the audience today that spent some time redoing the landscaping. Thank you, Sean, for doing that. It's nice that it looks nice and bright the way it used to, if you haven't noticed it yet on the highway. So it's nice to be up. So I hope all of you can make it.
I will be there. I did a dry run last week, thinking the sign was last week. So, but fortunately, I had to get dog meds. My vet is there, so it wasn't a wasted trip. So.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Ross, you gave us an invitation, but I don't think you said where it was.
Oh, it's right there.
It's the big sign on 441 by the veterinarian. Yep.
Yeah, but I didn't know if they knew where it was.
Oh, yes. There we go.
Okay. All right, that's
Yep.
it.
That's it. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Meeting adjourned.